everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the new video, and today's video is yet again about MEXT scholarship. And in today's video I'm going to tell you about the interview process and some general interview question that can be asked in your MEXT interview. So let's get into it. After your written examination comes the interview, and for the research students, that is like masters and PhD students, the interview is supposed to be online. It's also mentioned, the date is also mentioned on the website. And for the undergraduate student, it's not mentioned on the website whether it will be online or offline, but I think the people who are qualified for the interview, they will get notified by the embassy. And yeah, it can be online as well as offline. So some tips that I want to share for the interview are like general tips that you should follow for any interview. It's like dress formally, be on time, and try to answer all the question while putting a nice smile on your face. Like have a confident body language, don't be too stiff or too laid back, and don't fidget a lot. So like general interview etiquettes, you should follow that. So now I'll be sharing some interview questions, like 10 to 12 general questions that they can ask in your interview, but I'm not saying that these are the only question that you should depend upon. Like they can ask like around 4 to 5 questions among these. So yeah, you can prepare accordingly. Getting into first question, like they can ask you to give a self-introduction. So it's a pretty straightforward question. You have to introduce yourself, keep it short and crisp, like don't go on for too long. Just give your background and your academic background, etc, and yeah, keep it short and simple. For the second question, they can ask you what motivated you to apply for the MEXT and how did you get to know about MEXT. So how did you get to know about MEXT? In this question, you can answer simply like whether you find it on any website or you found it through any YouTube channel, or you like some friend told you about it, or you found it from your school or things like that. And what motivated you to apply for MEXT? It's like you can tell them how you think is MEXT is a good opportunity for you and why, like the reason why you are applying for this scholarship. You should be very clear about that, and you can answer that in detail. Third question can be like what triggered your interest in Japan? Why did you choose Japan but like not any other country? So in that question you have to be very specific, and you have to mention that how Japan is good for your major and for you and for your research theme if you are a like research student. So you have to mention things and points like that. How do you think Japan is beneficial for you and your future? So the next question can be like why did you choose this university and why did you choose this field? So in this question you have to describe like what triggered the interest for you in this field. Why are you pursuing this field? Why do you want to do your undergraduate or your postgraduate in this field? And you can show like your academic background. You can tell them about the projects you did and how do you see your future in this respective field. And you can also mention that how do you think this field has a future or like a career in Japan. And about the university, you can tell them like why do you think like this university is best for you. So you can mention how do you think the specific field that you are choosing for the MEXT is best taught in this university, or the professor that you want to go under has like the same research area as you. So you can describe things like that. You can describe these points and you can answer this question. So moving on to the next question, it can be how do you think you can adjust in Japan? So through this question, they want to know like how can you adjust in different culture, different environment from your home country. So one tip that I want to give for this question that you can mention if you have any experience living, traveling abroad or going to abroad even for a short-term program or things like that, you can mention how did you face the environment there, how did you face the cultural change there, and how did you adapt yourself in a different environment. Or not even abroad, you can also mention like if you have stayed away from your home, like in the same country but in the different state, you can also mention that as well. Like you can like give examples for your statement. Like if you want to say I am very adaptable, I can adapt to changes, so give an example supporting that statement. So yeah, this is one tip that I want to give because they asked this question from me. And yeah, like this is how I answered, by giving examples from my previous like past experiences. So the next question can be, how do you think your field of research or your field of study can be useful for Japan as well as your respective country? I think it's a very important question, and there's a high chance that like they can ask you this question in the interview. So you have to prepare for that, and you can prepare answer like how the field of study can act as a bridge between your country as well as Japan. And you can answer things like that, how do you think like how you can implement your knowledge that you have earned in Japan in your country, like in this field of study. Yeah, you can answer points like that. The next question, they asked this question in my interview. It was like, have you visited Japan before, or like how much knowledge of Japanese culture do you have? So in this question you can tell them all the knowledge of Japan that you have. It's better to research about Japanese culture and Japan beforehand, so you can prepare about that. And it's better not to revolve like your answer around only around anime and J-pop. Even if you were even if you gain your interest in Japan by that in first place, but you can still mention that, but keep it like very short and not to revolve like make your answer revolve around that only. So yeah. So the next question can be, what will you do after graduating from MEXT scholarship? Like if you are a graduate student, what will you do after that? If you are a postgraduate student, what will you do after you graduate? So in this question, like you can answer that if you are a postgraduate student, you can go for PhD. Like if you are a master's student, you'll go for a PhD. If you are a PhD student, you'll go for a postdoc. Or if you are a bachelor student and you want to study, like you want to continue your research and you will go into masters, you can answer that way. Or you can also answer that you want to gain work experience in Japan, you want to see the Japanese working culture as well, so you can answer that as well. So now coming to the last question, but the most important question is like, why should we select you over other candidates? So in this question, you have to convince them like why are you a better option over other candidates? Like why should they select you for this scholarship? So one tip that I want to give is like, don't be overconfident. Don't say things like I am the best among all the candidates and things like that. Try to be humble, but be confident at the same time. So you can mention your strengths and mention things like your projects, your strengths, like how do you think this scholarship will benefit you, how do you think you can benefit like Japan as well as your home country. So mention things like that, and I think you're good to go. Like give your 100% and leave rest to them. So these were some like general question, and other questions can be from your research proposal or your application form, like your statement of purpose and your research proposal. So prepare everything from that, like you should know what you have written. So most of the question will be among that, and they can ask you like 3 or 4 or 5 general question among these. So yeah, all the best for the interview, and be confident, have a smile on your face, and give your 100%. So this is it for today's video, and I hope this video was helpful for you guys. And if you're preparing for the interview, all the best for it. And if you have any queries, you can comment down below, or you can message me on the Instagram. And yeah, see you in the next vlog. Bye bye.